Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to have a look back at the 22 makeup products I wanted to pan in 2022 to see how successful I was. Now I will say I kind of lost track of these products midway through the year. I did do a mid-year kind of check-in, and then I really did try and reprioritize some of these items. So I also have been asked a bunch of times how I plan my project pan and choose which products to put in. So I will be filming that video as well on how I accumulate. It'll be 23 makeup products in 2023. That should be coming up soon in Vlogmas. But first I wanted to have a look back on this basket of items that I set aside for 22 and 2022. See how I did, see how I can improve. A note that I know I can improve in checking in more frequently. I think it's going to be quarterly for next year. This isn't a project pan in and of itself. It's more like setting these products aside to fit into other project pans or shop my stash, or just kind of keep at the forefront of my mind. So I definitely have room to improve for next year, but let's hop in to see how I did. I'm going to start off with eyeshadow palettes because those are the biggest items in my bin here, and I do not have any empty eyeshadow palettes. I'm sure none of you are surprised about that, but I have 4 that I wanted to focus on in 2022. 2 of which are my absolute oldest, my Wet n Wild palettes here, and I feel like I did prioritize these pretty well. You will have seen these in my most used palettes for the year, which again I can link up in the cards. I used these quite a bit this year. I hit 2 out of 3 pans in the trio, and then I hit 1 pan in my comfort zone, and also worked quite heavily on the more bronze shade. So these are definitely looking more loved. I'm not ready to declutter them by any means, but I'm happy I did focus on them. Another palette I'm happy I focused on and used a lot is my Modern Renaissance palette. I hit another 1 or 2 pans in this year. I don't remember how many it had at the beginning. I now have pan in Tempera, Burnt Orange, Bonfresco, and Cypress Umber, so this is looking much more loved. I don't know if I will ever be able to actually do a pan that palette. I don't know if that's really for me, but I'm happy to slowly over the years make progress on my palettes, and I'm happy I got a lot of use out of this. I have used this palette over 100 times now. I did meet or surpass that benchmark this year for this palette, which was really exciting. And one I didn't prioritize as well as I should have is my chocolate bar palette. I wanted to hit some pans in here this year. I did not. I only reached for this 10 to 15 times. It did not make it into my most used palettes of the year, so clearly it wasn't a priority for me. And hopefully in 2023 I can hit some pans in here. I did actually use this today. I still like this palette. I wore it on my wedding day. It's basic, neutral, but it's like one of those workhorse palettes. It's easy, blendable. Sometimes a super impactful pigmented shade isn't what you want when you are slapping on some eyeshadows and running out the door. This was, oh, my sick toddler is falling asleep and having a nap. I'm going to slap some makeup on my face, quickly film this video in the 20 minutes I have until I need to get Wyatt off the bus, and this palette was perfect for that. So wasn't really successful in panning it this year though. Now moving on to some base products. I made a really good progress in this section of my 22 items. First I have my Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. I did finish this. It's not a favorite, but I'm really happy to have it empty. I have my First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. I also successfully finished this off in a project. I did focus on 2 mini size primers, but nonetheless this is 2 less in my inventory for the year, which feels really good. I had 2 foundations. The first is my ColourPop No Filter foundation. I was able to finish this. This took a lot of effort. It's not very long lasting. Looked quite dry and heavy on my skin, and I didn't love it. It wasn't like a hate pan per se, but it was definitely a bit of a struggle, but I'm happy to have that gone. One I focused on a little bit for the latter half of the year but is nowhere near finished is my Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. I did make a good dent in here this year. It's starting to dent in around here. I'm sure there's still products on the side, but this is a huge foundation, 48 milliliters or 1.6 fluid ounces, but this needs to be an empty in 2023 because it is my oldest foundation. An exciting empty was this e.l.f. HD powder and under eye powder. I had mixed these but then held on to this packaging because technically the contents in here were 2 loose powders. So this actually counted as 2 makeup empties, very low value. It's like $3 and $6 I believe. But this powder is really great. It set my makeup really well, super inexpensive. I would consider repurchasing this HD one, not the under eye one, but I felt really accomplished. Speaking of feeling accomplished, my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, 170 uses to finish this bad guy. I am so happy to have finished this. It was getting really old, but it is probably my #1 favorite concealer. It is full coverage, blendable, a little goes a long way, lasts forever, and isn't too expensive. So I would definitely pick this product up again in the future. Let's hop into lips because I only had 2 lip products. And then I had a heavy focus on cheek products in 2022. So first I had my Tarte Color Splash lipstick in the shade Beach Babe. This is a really pale peachy nude and I successfully finished this lipstick off. That is just the plastic part that sticks up over here. I really like this lipstick formula. I would prefer to have a bit more of a mid-tone shade. This was really light, which was beautiful but not 100% my preference. And then my oldest lipstick in my collection is this Rimmel Kate Moss lipstick in the shade 8. Sorry, I had like something in my peripheral in the window outside, which kind of scared me. Anyways, this is going to be a declutter. It now smells like old school makeup. Like it doesn't smell super bad, but it didn't smell like this at the beginning of the year. And I mean, it looks just disgusting because Emmett shoved the whole thing in the cap, so I kind of smashed it back in here. This is my Deck of Panning Project pan, so I even have been using it though it smells bad. But then I was just like, why am I doing that when I have so many lip products and a lot of lip products in my makeup drawer of shame, and I'm using an expired lipstick that's worth like $7. Especially since I'm not going to have the satisfaction of finishing this by the end of the year, and I'm not holding on to this expired for another year and continuing to use this, so this is unfortunately a declutter. Now on to my cheek products. I put in my Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette. I wanted to hit some pans in here. I did not do that. I did put this in my Graveyard Project pan at the latter part of that project and got some good use on it. I have a huge dip in light cocoa over here. I do hope to hit pan on this. The chocolate smell is significantly faded. This is older than my Chocolate Bar palette, and I think once I hit pan in this shade, it might be time to let this guy go. It still works fine, but because it doesn't really smell like chocolate anymore, I don't know, I'm a little hesitant, I guess. Another declutter is my Revlon Oh Baby Pink Blush. I was actually going to put this in my Rolling Project 10 pan instead of Tarte Party, but as I was looking at it, it's looking kind of like weird and dusty in there. And then I swatched it and it's like literally nothing. And it was a very, like, do you see how washed out my finger looks there? It was a very light pink glowy blush. Like it was always light, but it's like there's no pigment coming off anymore. So again, this is my one of 2 of my oldest blushes, and I think I'm just ready to let it go. It's like 6 or 7 years old. Revlon isn't cruelty free, so it helped my numbers in that sense as well, and it's not glowy enough to be like a blush topper that I want to fuss with trying to pan it in that way. So I'm just ready to let this go let this go. Like I said, it's really old and I think it has expired. My Tarte Party Blush, I just mentioned this. I put it in my Rolling Project 10 Pan Winter Edition. I really do hope to hit pan on this very soon. I have been using it. It still looks the same as ever. Okay, this is super exciting. My Becca liquid highlighter in the shade Opal. I have been struggling to pan this for like 6 months in Deck of Panning, and my line never moves. I've used this product like 90 times, and this is a mini. It's 10 mils. Finally, it's always stored upright. I'm having to like bang and squeeze and maneuver this in order to get any product out now. The last 2 times I've done my makeup and used this, it's been a little bit of a struggle to get product out of here. So that's quite exciting because I think I'm going to have this gone by the end of the year, but I didn't really want to wait on filming this particular video. Another highlighter is Champagne Pop, also from Becca. I finally hit pan. This took 119 uses to hit pan. I'm so happy that it is finally there. I'm now out of breath because I just ran up the stairs across the house to turn the furnace off. 119 uses to hit pan in this freaking highlighter, but I finally did it, and it's a baby pan. But I am so happy to finally have a pan in here. The dip, I don't know if you can even like truly see that on camera. The dip is huge because for a very, very long time, I wasn't even focusing my brush on any one part. My goal was to hit pan on this in 2022, and I did succeed. Another product I rolled into my Rolling Project 10 pan to hit pan on is ColourPop Smoke and Whistles. This is my favorite winter highlighter for when I am very fair. I have quite a dent in here, but I didn't focus on it as much in 2022 as I would have hoped. There was a weird like chunk of pigment or something in there I just dug out, but yeah, I am excited to be making progress on this, though I didn't meet my goal for 2022, but I'm not really fussed about that. One I severely neglected is my Kevyn Aucoin contour powder. I really wanted to hit pan in here. I have used this contour powder a ton, like 80 times or something like that, and I don't have pan or anything. And I've been using other contour products when I do bother to contour, which to be honest is not very often. So this was definitely a fail. And I have 2 bronzers left. The first is my Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer. I made a lot of progress on this. I've used it over 100 times now. I don't know how many of that was just this year, but I did hit pan, as you can see. So the next step, I would like to finish this in 2023, but again, we will talk about that in another video. But I would say that I met my goal on this item. And lastly, I have my NARS Laguna. I have it like this in a hair tie because I had to depot it because I expanded the pan so much I couldn't really get my brush into the corners of this tiny packaging. So I repressed it in here, and I think I pressed it way too hard. I definitely have a lot of hard pan on here I need to scrape off, but this is a very thin layer of bronzer that I think if I dedicated some time to, honestly, I think I could have this finished up, which now that I'm looking at it, like, I didn't really factor this into my 2023 planning. So maybe I can use this up next summer or something because it is a bit on the darker side for my fair to light skin tone. But that is everything for my 22 and 2022 wrap up. I will talk more about my year of panning and how I did, etc. in probably my makeup empties or discussing my goals for next year. I haven't entirely worked that out, but I met quite a few goals and I'm pretty happy with my progress on my collection this year. I'm excited for you guys to see my makeup inventory coming up as well. I'm finally letting some products go, and I've done some decluttering this year, and I'm happy to have found some items that have unfortunately expired, and I am ready to let these go. But again, these are like 7 years old, 6 years old maybe, so I'm really not that heartbroken about it. Let me know how you did on your year-long project pan or project panning goals. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. Thank you again for so much support on Vlogmas. I'm having a lot of fun, though it is very challenging. Let's just say that. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!